Hi, my name is Stormy Hells. I hold a BFA in animation, a CompTIA A+ certification, and I have an interest in databases and roleplay games. This presentation is for my project Character Sheet Manager. It's based off the 20th anniversary World of Darkness roleplay game and a focus on Where of the Apocalypse. It's designed to help both players and storytellers create, manage, and track their characters within a world steeped in rich, detailed lore. This project came about from an observation I had years ago. War of the Apocalypse is a narrative heavy tabletop roleplay game that, while isn't as number heavy as Dungeons and Dragons, the looseness of it made keeping track of points and powers unnecessarily difficult to manage over time, where players would then introduce their own homebrew systems to do so. Combat was also time consuming, where a simple fight could take a few hours, especially when you have six players. My goal was to create a tool that brings structure to that experience without losing the flavor of what makes the game special. The project is a Discord integrated bot built in C Sharp using Entity Framework Core, D Sharp, and SQL. It lets users create characters and assign traits like attributes, abilities, backgrounds, renown, rage, gnosis, and willpower. Thanks to SQL, the program dynamically adjusts which traits are allowed or restricted based on the character's species, birth circumstances, lineage, or affiliations. Special bonuses are also automatically applied, and the program knows if it needs to skip certain categories for a character.
All right, so we're going to see if it responds, which is good. Looks like it worked. You can do help to see what the commands are. And you see the first thing we have to do is register so that we can do anything. After that, we have to create a chronicle because there currently isn't any. It takes an argument, so you have to put in the name at the same time and then put in its description. So now you see that the chronicle now exists, and it gives you an ID number. So we're going to start the character sheet process. First, you have to put in your chronicle that you're working on and then give your character a name. It's going to tell you all the species that are available. Since I am of the storyteller class, it gives me a lot more options. And then we go into what breed the character is, the auspice of the character, uh, then its tribe, which is pretty much baseline information, and then we're going to give it a rank. After that, we give it its attribute weights. So I'm going to say that most of my points are going to go into physical, and then mental is my secondary, and it automatically puts in the third. Same thing with the other attributes, and then it fills in the rest of the information for the baseline of the character. After that, then we are able to start putting in points for the attributes. It shows what is the current state of the character sheet, and then it begins the loop of allowing you to add in your points. So we're doing the physical currently, and the first attribute we're going to change is the strength, and we have to tell it if we're going to add or remove, and then how many points we're going to spend. And then it continues the loop until you tell it no. So we're going to speed through this because this takes a little bit of time to do. You see, once we get into the talents and skills and knowledges, the amount of options expand. And there are some that are not available for certain species, and some give bonuses that the character, depending on what the character is, will automatically get them. So now we are starting the backgrounds. Backgrounds work a little differently, but starts off the same, where it shows you the current state of your character, and then it tells you what the backgrounds are available. These change depending on what the character is as well. So you will see ones that have check marks that say these are allowed, and then others that say they're discouraged. The ones that the character cannot take are hidden so that you are not bombarded by all the options. You can then ask it more information about the background before you then go on to adding in the background that you want. And from there in the loop, it keeps going until you tell it no. So now we're going to see what the character looks like currently. You may notice on the side there's an add button that little icon that shows up saying that it created a new character ability. Those are ones that were not in the list by default, and so that it adds it to the character sheet. So that makes the character sheet dynamic. And after all is said and done, you have the ability to then export the character. And you see, this is the result of that. It kind of mimics the official character sheet with the dots and attributes, abilities, and the placement of the advantages. And this way you are then able to print it out if you so desire. And that concludes the run through.
So, one of the issues I came upon was how to deal with the supernatural resources. These resources in Werewolf typically are rage, gnosis, and willpower. However, these tend to change from species to species, such as the possessed have autonomy, which gauge how much control they have over their bodies. Long story. Consulting the internet gods, the strategy pattern was the best fit to handle this problem. The strategy pattern for supernatural resources allows each resource to have their own way of being calculated during initiation. I kept it simple for now for the sake of time, but I see the use of this for gifts and Unity implementation in the future. To tie up this project, I built an Excel export feature using Closed XML, a C# library which generates a cleanly formatted sheet with Unicode dots to represent trait ratings. This gives storytellers and their players the ability to have a print friendly record of their characters so that they have the ability to play in real life if they want to. Some of the biggest challenges were getting Docker to work at first. It was a big deal for me to have an environment that was portable so that I could easily host this in a different place, especially because a SQL server was involved. So it's amazing how in programming there's a lot of setup before you finally have the framework to even start your logic. The other challenge was managing a complex character rule set by normalizing data tables and creating a flexible enough system to adapt to any character quirks. So, what's next? From here, I plan to continue refining the UI so that my partner doesn't get so upset at how it spams the chat. More advanced features such as merits and flaws, packs and factions, full gift logic, experience exchange, and audit logs. Eventually, I want this tool to evolve into the back end of a Unity based manual auto battler in the style of Golden Sun that can be played on Discord's activity feature. Thank you for listening. I hope this project enhances your gameplay and shows how technical systems and creative storytelling can go hand in hand. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the project, the design, or the technology behind it. Made with love, passion, fire, and a little bit of rage, I am Stormy. Be safe. Have a good night.